Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Freepod, your inside scoop, all things Freeport. I'm your host today, Matt Mullen, and joining me to talk about one of the city's most anticipated summer traditions, Tutty Baker Days, is back, and we're joined here by Freeport Festival Chairperson Jodi Miller. She's going to share with us what's in store for this year's celebration. Jodi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off. For those who might have been new to the area or new to the tradition that is Tutty Baker Days, talk a little bit about the historical perspective of it, and now that it's been back for a couple of years, what's Tutty Baker Days all about?
Well, you know, it was took place many, many years ago. It was on over 20-year hiatus, and it was something that was so meaningful to the residents of Freeport and beyond that it never lost its touch. When you heard about Tutty Baker Days, people had great memories. So we thought, you know, why not bring something back that's similar, but yet more functioning in today's society? So we really wanted to focus on being able to have a free event for our residents, draw people together, that sense of community, and then as well, highlight our town and draw people from the outside. We want tourism. So to bring people into our downtown and, you know, with the recent streetscape with Chicago Avenue, and it just seemed like the right time. So that's how it kicked off and pulled together a few people. And so we just have a really small core group. And so we just open it up to vendors and food trucks and music and all kinds of things, just so that way there's something for an entire weekend for the whole community to enjoy.
So in your eyes, what are some of the highlights people can look forward to this year?
Well, you know, we've got it packed from everything from music on Friday night to a carnival that lasts the entire weekend. Wilson Family Carnival comes in. They set up at the municipal lot across from the Stewart Center. And I think we have 19 rides coming in this year, which is phenomenal. And wristbands, so that way it's a little more affordable. It's really the only thing that someone has to pay for is they want to do rides. And so we have wristbands available for $30 and on all 3 days, just specific hours. And then, so, you know, if another thing that people have to pay for is food. So everything else is free.
Sure,
so,
there's a ton of, at the various stages, a lot of vendors that are doing displays and things like that.
I have almost 100 vendors this year.
Wow.
Over 20 food trucks. And some are local, some we've never had around. So it's a great variety of stuff that's coming in. And so we've got a car show on Saturday night. We've got a fireworks, which is phenomenal. So, you know, all of these things wouldn't be possible without the sponsors, because our goal is to keep it so that way it draws people in. Sure. So, you know, we have great sponsors. Would you mind if I just talk about that for a minute? Of course. Yeah, you know, TSR concrete coating sponsored our fireworks. Lesher Heating and Air Conditioning sponsored the music, and Helm Group sponsored the carnival. So those were our core sponsors to make the big things happen. And then, you know, we also had other ones that, I mean, you know, it takes a lot of money to pull something off, from sanitation issues to marketing. Marketing's huge. So we have Citizen State Bank of Freeport, Fisher Excavating, Green State Credit Union, FHN, Fair Graham, and Stewart and Associates. So, you know, we couldn't do it without that help. So we are very grateful for our sponsors.
So I think anytime you have a festival or a fair or something like this, you have two kinds of people that come. You have rides people and you have food people. Mm-hmm. I am 100% a food person. What are you when it comes to an event like this?
Oh, I love the food as well. And the music. The music, we have a lot of great variety for music. So I'll talk about the music just for a moment.
Yeah.
So Friday night, it starts at 5 o'clock. We have our craft and vendor show that will be running along Stevenson and State Street. And then music at the Art Plaza, which we call the Lesher Stage, there's the sponsor, is Backcountry Roads. So we've got a little country music going on there. They're very well known in the community. And then at 7 o'clock is an Eric Church tribute band, which I'm excited about that. I think that'll be wonderful as well. And then we also have a second stage over on Main and Adams. Remember the old Germania lot back there? So we've got a stage and sound set up there. And so that will have a DJ starting at 5 o'clock, and then karaoke at 7, and Kid Griffey at 9 o'clock. So many things happening then. And most of our vendors will be set up on Friday night, not all of them, but the food trucks will all be in. And so food trucks range everywhere from Italian beef to coffee to your typical fare kind of food. You've got your cheese curds and that type of menu, to pizza and chicken and waffles. This is a new one for us this year, as well as a lot of smoked meats and local taco restaurant kind of mentality on that piece. And also new on the menu this year is lobster. Cousin's Maine lobster will be there as well. So, like I said, over 20 food vendors.
So when you coordinate something like this, obviously there's a million moving parts.
Yes.
And not only do you have all the things that you have to look at from a city lens when it comes to sanitation and all that good stuff, but you also have all these businesses that are surrounding this area, and they're keeping their shops open and inviting folks in. Talk about the economic impact that something like this brings.
Well, and that's just it. We want people to just not come to an event. We want them to go into the stores. And so, that's a huge economic piece. And then it even further than that, I would hope that it draws people from the outside and that might even be thinking about, maybe we should live in Freeport. Maybe we should move here. And so it has a much bigger picture. And that's the piece of it that I really like.
Okay. So you've mentioned a ton of things about it, but is there something that you're really looking forward to this year for Tutty Baker Days?
We've really focused a little bit more on the family piece of it. So Saturday, starting actually at 8 o'clock in the morning from the Tutty's Crossing, we've got a bike ride. So that's open to all ages to bring your bike and go on a ride together. And also a 5K run, the farmer's market. And then so at 10 o'clock, the Linda is hosting a free movie. I don't know what the movie is yet, but I'm sure every kid will love it. And so, if people are wondering about how do they get around, how are we going to park and that kind of thing, we have lots of parking all around the outside of the festival district, which remind me, let me talk about the festival district at some point.
Yeah, so that's a great segue. So talk a little bit about because you're right. There's a lot of landmarks that are in downtown Freeport. But parking is always something that people are thinking about. And where do I go?
Yep. And we've got a map. You can look at it on Facebook, on our website, which is tuttybakerfest.com. Okay. And I also just am having 5,000 maps printed. So they will be all over the town, as well as, handed out in the weekend. But the parking, we hire 2 trolleys. And so they will be continuing going on the same path on Douglas, on Adams, down Spring, and back up on Walnut. So it's making a great big around the perimeter of the festival. And so it will run from 11 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. So until the fireworks is done. So lots of parking. All over, all the municipal lots will be open for parking. So you don't have to worry about on-street parking because that's not going to work.
So obviously fireworks are a big draw. And this time of year, it's going to be kind of right in the week after the 4th of July. So where's the best spot to see
the
fireworks?
entire downtown is really good because we launched them out of the Tutty's Crossing. Okay. So, and they're high enough and they're shot over the river. And so it just makes a beautiful spot. Whether you are sitting on the grass area at the Art Plaza or the Main and Adams grass area, the old Germania lot, or pick any place. There's lots of places. The car show is on Stevenson and Adams area, that huge lot right there. And so people will sit there as well. There's a bags tournament at the new Grasshoppers on Stevenson. And so they actually have a phenomenal spot to sit right there. They've got a little parklet right there, but there isn't a bad spot in downtown to watch fireworks.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit. Obviously, as the chairperson, you're doing a lot of heavy lifting, but I'm sure you've got a group around you that is running around. Here's a good time. Let's shout out a couple of those folks that I know who are probably putting in 10, 12, 14-hour days as volunteers.
Yes, that is true. And then they have their real jobs.
Yeah,
because this is honestly, this is a non-for-profit. And so this is out of the goodness of their heart. And so actually Nikita Woods came to me probably 5 years ago. And she said, let's talk about something we can do in the community. And we just were brainstorming. And so Nikita has been just vital in all kinds of pieces for me, as well as Abra Palermo. She's a local realtor. And so she's great at marketing. And so we've been working together. And then also Steve Cox. So he's the legal head of it, keeps us all in line and, we sometimes like to do things, and he's like, no, let's think about that. So
there's always got to be that guy, right?
But, right. There's always that guy. But you know what? Generally, I get to win on that. And so we are having back the axe throwing again. So I think the axe throwing is super fun, and it makes an attorney nervous. So
I can imagine.
But it's good.
I can imagine why. So, but also one of those things that has evolved, and as Tutty Baker Days 2.0, I guess is maybe what this is as you guys have evolved this. You remember the old Tutty Baker Days. Yep. I remember the old Tutty Baker Days, and to see this evolve and bring some of those highlights that were so important to the community back then in the mid 90s, right? Probably. Yeah. And to see that evolve and come back. Yep. What a cool moment of community pride for Freeport.
Right. And it doesn't put all of the pieces on the core group. That's the beauty of this. So if someone comes to us and says, I really want to do a 5K run. Well, I'm not organizing that. Neither of my other 3 in the committee, but whoever that person is that comes. And so it becomes their umbrella to take care of. So they take care of their own funding, their own gathering of whatever they need. And they just tell us where they're going to be and the timeframes. And then we market them and put them under our big umbrella. So lots of moving pieces, but everybody's got their own responsibility.
Yeah, once the train starts moving, it's
moving.
It's going, right?
It's going.
So there's a lot coming up. Before, where can people find more information or get involved? Do you need volunteers at this point?
No, I everybody does their own thing, so I am good.
Okay.
But Facebook, we have a lot of traffic on Facebook, Instagram, and so you can go that way. You can just go to our website and. There are signs all over town, those big signs. And so there's a QR code on there that it'll take you right to all the events.
Okay. So if I go to Facebook, I'm going to search Tutty Baker Fest. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then if I go to website is tuttybakerfest.com. Yep. Instagram handle is?
That's not me.
That's a great question. Huh? I bet it's got something to do with if you search Tutty Baker. Yes. Funny last question for me, but I think there's probably a lot of people. Who's Tutty Baker? What is that name? What does it mean?
Founder
to people?
of Freeport. Okay. Back in the day, his wife was really more of the entrepreneur. Her name was Phoebe, and they had a ferry system across the river. Okay. And he was just notorious for giving free ferry rides. And she's like, "What do you think this is? A free port?"
And so I've told that story to my children, awesome? And I think they think I'm making it up.
No.
Because, now I'm going to be a little naive. It was Winneshek was the original name, right? Correct. And so that name still stands at the theater, of course. But it was so to know that our town is named after a wife, pointing out to her husband that she's the smart one in the relationship.
We need to be making some money here, and he's just making it all free.
Yeah, so what a cool historical context for our town. Last question. What did we miss? What else can you get out there?
Kind of just to go back to the Saturday and being more family focused. Again, we've got the carnival. And so we on the Art Plaza Leisure stage at noon is a magic show that's really geared towards kids, and a petting zoo, which happens all afternoon. We've got an interactive bubble station. I don't know if you were there last year for the bubble station, but it was so much fun.
That was a hit.
So it's set up in the grass, and it's fun. It's from 1 to 3. And obviously you don't have to be a kid to enjoy that. It was great. But then 2:00 starts Sunset Strip. And so they're a band in the Rockford area. So they'll be coming over at 2:00. And then the Boys and Girls Club's dance team will be at 3:00 down on the Main and Adams stage. And 4:00 starts the car show. And we've got another dance team at 4:00 on the Main and Adams stage. And at 4:00 on the Lesher stage is the puppet show and demonstration by the Freeport Fire Department. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. And all afternoon long, our big ladder truck, our Freeport Fire Department's ladder truck will be set up on Chicago and Stevenson and be showing how that's all raised and lowered. And it's phenomenal to watch. So if you haven't seen that yet, you should do that. And then at 5:00 is our Little Miss Firecracker pageant. So I think we have 14 girls that signed up for that.
Oh, great.
So it's just fun. And then at 6:30 on the Main and Adams stage is a performer called Little Rounds. I don't know if you're familiar with that name, but she was the American Idol Season 8 finalist. So she's coming for a short show as well. And then starting at 7:00 is called Burning Red on the Lesher stage. Burning Red is a Taylor Swift band.
Oh, okay, great.
So we really want to aim at more of a family concept and drawing in young people. And then also at 7:00 on the other stage is Soul Review. So if you like that kind of soul music, that would be right up your alley. And then 9:30-ish will be the fireworks. So it just kind of is the end of a great evening. And again, that's sponsored by TSR. But new, we haven't talked about anything new. So
go for it. What do you got?
So I don't know if you remember back in 2014, when I had owned the Union Dairy, it was the 100th anniversary. And so one of the things that I worked on was providing a history tour of the downtown. And so Tim and Becky Connors had done that for me back in 2014. So I asked them if they would consider doing something similar to that, but not quite as long. And so on Saturday, starting at noon on the hour until 7:00, we have, at the help of the Freeport Park District, a hay wagon, a tractor and wagon ride that will leave from the Art Plaza where that red sculpture is, and on the hour, and it's free. And so it takes about a half hour to go through that tour. And, Tim and Becky are great at that. And so if you want to learn things from Taylor Park to, the Honeywell buildings to all the way around to the very first home in Freeport, I mean, we're going to hit all of that. So it will be, I'm sure, a very well presented history tour. And I can't wait to hear all the final pieces
it'll be
of it.
the most entertaining ride around Freeport you're ever going to take with those two as your hosts. So, and I'm not just saying that because they're on our staff here at Freepod, but they are obviously Tim and Becky know the insides and outs, and they're gonna, that'll be a great spot for somebody.
And then Sunday, let's talk just about Sunday just for a moment. We have Peck and Paddle is doing kayak rentals and a duck race from Tutty's Crossing. And then at 10:00 is a community worship service led by the Father's House. And then as well as all the vendors that are still set up. And then at 1:00 is the parade. The parade goes down Stevenson to Van Buren and then back down on Main. And so if you want to hear like who the different people are in the parade, there'll be the stage set up on Main and Adams to finish that up of who it is that's in the parade. And then little dance party on the Lesher stage from 1 to 4, and Jelly Ball. Were you out for Jelly Ball?
I do remember that. Yeah.
That was fun as well. It's a little target kind of shooting kind of thing. And it's a competition, 2 guns, and it's just fun. It's like, it doesn't hurt anyone. I mean, there's nothing that flies anywhere. Sure, it's just a target. But it's just fun competition. And so that, as well as giant games, are set up on the Art Plaza grass as well. So, I don't know, there's just a lot of great things going on. And, not just food trucks, but also to talk a little bit about Festival District and what that means. So back in 2020, when there was so much shutdown and we were trying to figure out how do we still bring, revenue into our businesses downtown. And so we mirrored some other communities with being able to walk into a restaurant bar setting, purchase yourself a cocktail and walk out and go into different stores. So it was kind of keeping people moving. And so we formed that Festival District, which surrounds the entire downtown. And so we have Wagner House, This Is It, Grasshoppers, Mort's, as the brick and mortars for liquor license holders, as well as La Patrona is going to have a margarita bar. So you'll be able to, have a cocktail and walk around as well during the festival. But the beauty of that is there's no beer tent, which causes people to just congregate in one spot. Yeah. So we want people to move around and see and do all the different things. So, again, lots of things happening, and we're excited about the whole thing, and hopefully it's not quite as hot as it has been the last.
We've talked about everything. I think we've actually forgotten to say what are the exact dates and times all of this is kicking off.
Yes, well, it is July 11th, 12th, and 13th. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It starts on Friday night, the 11th, at 5:00, and Saturday morning it starts at 8 with different things, and Sunday is the first event would be the community worship at 10. So carnival's there the entire weekend. So lots of things to do. I think last year we had 35,000 people, according to the geofencing, that were in through the weekend. And that didn't include children or people with their locators shut off. So I'm guessing it was probably closer to the 45,000. So, it's just highlighting what we have. And we have a great downtown. And so we have businesses and restaurants and stuff. People will walk in and say, I didn't know that store was here. Well, they've been here for like 10 years, those kind of things. So it's just trying to bring attention and grow the revenue.
Yeah, well, and it's exactly what you're going to do, right? You're going to get so many people that are going to see, I didn't know there was a record store downtown. I didn't know Right Way was right here and all that stuff. So there's so many businesses that are going to get an opportunity to get some more eyes. And yes, our beautiful Chicago Street is beautiful. Some of the murals, all of those photos, all those things that you see folks get interactive with. And so what a great opportunity to highlight Freeport, highlight its history, highlight its future.
Yes. That's correct.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so please come.
Well, we are so excited that you were able to join us today.
Well, I appreciate it.
So Tutty Baker Days, July 11th, 12th, 13th. You can find more on their social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, or you can check them out at their website at tuttybakerdays.com. We're so glad that you could join us today. We'll see you down there just in a little bit.
All right. Sounds good.
That's Freeport Festival Chairperson Jodi Miller joining us today on Freepod. I've been Matt Mullen. Thank you for joining us.